Hi, this is an object-oriented inventory calculator developed in C#. So let me show you guys how it works. Right down here I have three buttons, and here there's the reset button that clears the whole system, and I can reset the system according to what the customer wants. Supposing I mistakenly or intentionally leave this area blank and enter some other value there, instead of the system to crash, what will happen is the system will actually repopulate the empty cells. So we're going to leave some cells here empty and enter data into some of the other ones here, maybe one or two datas here, and let's click on total. There we go. You see the empty cells, they are now back to 0. So that's how the system works. So we can always click on exit. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you guys straight into C# development environment, and we'll put one of these together. So let's do that now, guys. Okay guys, let's start a new C# program. Let's click on create new project. Now that the dialog box is ready, let's select C# Windows Forms application, and we give our project a name. I'm going to call it CS underscore object oriented inventory calculator. Right, that's the name of my project. Click on OK. Let's click on save. There we go. Okay, now that my form is ready, I'm going to click on the properties, and right here let's give it a name. That is the name of my product right there. Say it. And now let's change the form size to as follows. Okay, the form size will be 1386 by 788, and right here start position, I'm going to get that centered there. The next thing is to come straight here. Let's grab the panel. There we go. That's our panel there. Let's change the property setting of that panel, the back color, the border style. Let's change that to fixed single. And let's copy it around because we're going to need a couple of those. One down here and one here. Let's change the size of these to about that, and just copy these across, and let's copy this again because we're going to need that, and increase the size of both. Alright, now this very one, I'm going to design this, change the color of these to maybe white, or maybe control light. Let's come right here, and that's it, control light. I will copy that, copy and paste it right in here. And just drag it that much. That will be the design for my interface. Okay, so I'm going to need a couple of those, one here and one more here, in fact two more really. Move these, we're going to need these here as well. Alright, maybe one more here. We're going to make it look all much better. Now come down here, let's grab checkbox. Need some checkbox here. We need about 10 of those. Okay, then we also need text box. One here, another one here, copy both. Alright, Now let's get a label. A label here. Up here we need a label, and that very label we need it right on top. That's fine. And paste. Let's call that object oriented inventory calculator. Right, let's change the size of that text box to about 48. There we go, change that to about 48. Make that bold right there. Just move it that much. Okay, so what I will do now is I want to speed up the design of this whole interface and get back to you guys. So this is how the system is looking right now. We can delete this and just copy this across. And we're gonna need some buttons here, but let's speed up the design of the whole interface anyway. Alright guys, this is how the whole interface looks now. Just have to speed it up. I'm going to run it for the first time and you see how it looks. Yeah, this is how it all looks. Okay, but none of this button do nothing. So I'm going to close that. The first part of it is, let's take care of this very button. That's easy. This very one. Double click on that. And right in here, let's declare a variable for that. Dialog result equals I exit. Right there. And let's add the following built-in function. So message box dot show. So let's go for confirm. Confirm if you want to exit. Alright. And come right down here, enter a comma, and the name of the project, I'm just going to enter that in the object oriented inventory calculator. Right, that's the name. Now let's add another built-in function, and that's going to be for the buttons that I will use. That's message box button dot yes no. Then finally one other built-in function that will be for the icon, this very one, dot question. Okay, enter a semicolon there, and right underneath let's enter if statement. If the dialog box, that is if exit I exit equals dialog result. Let's try that again. Dialog result, double click on it, dot yes, enter your curly braces there. That will be double equals compare. Okay, let's enter application dot exit. Right there, we need parentheses in here. That is it. There, that is it. That's for our exit. From here down here, those are the lines of code for the exit. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to go straight into the project here. Click on the project because the whole program is going to be based on objects. So let's create 3 objects. There are 3 objects. That will be fine. The first object, I'm going to call that. Let's create one for tax. Let's say C tax. That's the very first object. Create C tax. That's object C tax right there. The next object, let's create another one, another object, and this one I'm going to call this very object maybe product. I want to call it C product. Yep, the C stands for class. There we go. And the next object, I'm going to call that, let's create another one, call that C price. So this one is going to be for the price. There, make sure object is selected. There we go, guys. So now that we have our three objects there, the first one here, let me use product first. Inside product, I will declare the following variables. So the very first variable, that will be private double. Okay, so I'm going to call it food. Let's say food item 1. So that is my very first variable there declared. So just copy this. I will need about 10 of those, or 11 of those actually. So I'm going to just speed that up. So that's the very first variable. So I will now declare another one for the drinks. These are just for, let's call that drinks. Drink item 1. Okay, let's just copy that and speed it up as well. Alright, both food and drinks item are declared. So the next thing I would like to do now is I might as well just calculate all of this together. Okay, right underneath here, let's say public. Let's go for double. That will be get amount. And let's come right down, scroll down, enter the curly braces there. And in there, the first thing I'll do is to get this variable there. And let's say equals, add up all of the content in here. So that's going to be +2, +3, and so on. Okay, that's for the food item. The next one will be for the drinks item. There, that is for the drinks item. Then we now have to return, let's say food underscore item plus drinks underscore items, and there we go. Alright, but this is still not going to do anything, because the reason being all of our data in here are all private. So, and that means private actually they must have properties. The properties in this case will allow us to be able to gain access into it. But if we don't set it as private, the problem is the other data will be able to gain access, and changes can be carried out at any time. So let's try and write out the private property for each of these variables. Okay, before declaring the properties for all of these private variables, I'm going to first of all create a value here, a private value for them. So let's say private double value, I'm going to say equals 0 there. So I will start by declaring as follows, since they are all private. So I'm going to make it public double, and let's call the first one food item 1, food item 1. Right, so right in here, let's enter our curly braces, and right inside the curly braces, let me go for set. Okay, and what I'm setting is going to be my very first item, and that is the food item, this very one up here. So I'm going to copy that. That's my food item 1 equals the value that was set up there. Okay, that is food item 1. But let's have a look. Supposing it is 0. Okay, let's use an if statement up here. If I use an if statement, okay, let's copy this and say get, change this to get equals, the get will become, let it return a value, and the value that is returned will return food item. Right, return food item. But the other thing is, supposing, okay, let's say if value is less than or equals to 0 in here. Okay, let's come back here and say if the value is less than or equals to 0, this is what I want you to do. Okay, and get. Alright, that is fine for the very first property. So I can just copy this, copy all of that, and that will be the second one, less than and equals to 0. Okay, let's come in here, paste that, and change this to 2, and this become food item 2 as well. Return food item 2. Okay, I suppose you guys get the whole idea now. So if I come in here and collapse that, you see, so the whole purpose is so that no any other data member won't be able to gain access to the value we have in here. That's the whole idea. I can always use public for it, but that means everyone else can gain access to it. So that is for that's for food item number 4. As you can see, it's all the same thing. All I'm just doing is changing the variable names. Look at it, it's the same name here. Those are the name I'm calling. So I'm going to sort of like speed that up and get back to you guys. Alright, that is it for the food items. I'm going to collapse that. It's all the same lines of code, and we would repeat exactly the same thing for the drinks item right there. Those are the lines of code for the drinks item. You can see, as you can see, it's all the same thing. It's just the names that have changed. Okay, if you have a look, let me open this one up. You can see that's food item, that's properties for food item, and properties for drinks item. And up here, that's where I've added them all together, and that's the final result. Okay, now that the product class is taken care of, let's take care of maybe the tags. Yeah, let's come right in here, and right there we're going to declare as follows: public. It's a public double there. That is the tags variable declared, or you can call it data type as well. So let's come down here, and then let's go for public double, and let's call it find tags, and let's say double C amount. So that's the variable within the parentheses. Okay, and enter curly braces. So what I would then do is I'm going to say double double fine tax, so that's another variable that I'm declaring, equals C amount minus or subtract, whatever you like, you can call it a C amount. Let's multiply that by whatever value we have up here. Okay, the variable we have up here, multiply it by that, and let's enter curly braces there. Then we have the system or the class to return as follows: return tax. There. So those are that is the very lines of code for the tax itself. If you're wondering why didn't I enter it in here, I just want to modularize all of the class, that's why it's there. The other one that I'm going to take care of now is that will be the price. Okay, so what I will do is let's declare all of the price. In total that will be about 20. So let's say public. We're going to make the class public because the price can always change, so that you can change it when you like. The very first price, so let's call it food price. Food price 1. The food price number 1 equals 2.3. Okay, so let's repeat exactly the same thing. So we're gonna need about 10 of those. Alright, just need to now change the values around and the numbers. Okay, all the variables for the class, they are all ready now. Okay, so we have that of the product, that's it there. Okay, I will go to look at it. The variable for the product, and this is where I added it all up, and the private properties, the properties for the products, there they are. Okay, so the properties for the food is the same thing, it's the same lines of code for the drinks. Okay, and the tax there. Alright, that's that all done. Now let's come into our program now and come right in here. Okay, so as you can see, I'm going to end up creating 3 objects. Okay, double click on total. The first object, let's go for either one. Okay, let's say price. Okay, so we can just call that items, item price equals new price. There, that's the very first one. Okay, then let's create object product. C product, because let's just go for food drink equals new C product. There. And what about tax? So let's just say tax equals, no, let's give the object a name, equals iTax equals new CTax. There guys, I've just finished creating 3 objects for those 3 classes. Okay, without those objects we won't be able to gain access into those classes. Okay, now guys, let's add up all of the price. So the first thing we want to do is to call data we have in here. So let's come back down here. So that of the food and drink. So food and drink dot. So let's go for food first. Food item number 1 there equals the price. Let's say price. Copy that, paste that in there. Dot. That'll be food price number 1. We'll multiply that by whatever we have in there. Let's say double dot pass, and that will be, let's find out the name of the very first item here. That is celery. That'll be celery. Yeah, that is correct. Copy that back in here. Celery dot text and semicolon. So that's the very first item. So the very first item, whatever number you enter in here, let's say you want 10 celery, that will be 10 multiplied by this price is stored in here. So that is it. So the next one, I'm just going to copy and paste, then speed it up. We need 10 of those for the food. Okay, I'm going to speed that up. Okay guys, for the drinks is for the food is all ready. So let's take care of the one I call drinks. So that'll be food drinks dot, that'll be drink 1 equals, that's going to be the same price, item price dot the one drink. Okay, now we need to multiply that by dot pass, and right here, which one what do I have in here? Okay, we have tea, coffee and so on. No, it's coffee. Alright, this is all wrong then. Okay, so this should have been wine and so on. Right, back in here we have tea right there. txt t dot text. Okay, so here was meant to be wine, txt wine. Alright, so you guys get the whole idea. So I'm now going to now speed this one up as well. Okay guys, all the prices are now in order. Okay, now let's sum everything up. So to sum it all up, it's left to you. I'm going to declare a public variable up here. It doesn't have to be up there, you can always make it a private variable. That's my variable there. Okay, in here, okay, inside there, let's get whatever value we have in here. So that will be equals, let's call the food and drinks, yeah, food and drink equals dots thing get amount right there. So whatever we have in there in the get amount, you guys, if you can still remember what we have here, right up here I have, this is where I added up food and drink, so I've just called it now right in here. Okay, that's that done. The next thing for us to do is to add up the tax. I think the tax, what did I call the variable for the tax? I taxes, this very one equals, I think that would be C tax, no, that is actually that would be I tags, yeah, dot find tags, this very one. Okay, then we now need to work out what we have in here inside the subtotal. So paste that. No, that will be the subtotal. I subtotal. Paste that right in there. There. Now that we know the subtotal, we have worked out the tags. Now I'm going to add these two together to get the total. So for the total, right here, just say I total equals these two here, subtotal plus I tags. Okay. No. There. That is it. Now we now need to enter all of this into the onto the objects. So let's find out the names of these objects. This very one is called what? LBL tags, and the next one is LBL subtotal, and this one should be LBL total. So that is fine. Okay, let's copy that. Come right down here, back into our code there. So the first one is LBL tags.text equals, because it will only accept string value, I'm going to have to convert it. Convert dot format. Okay, and what are we formatting? So that's going to be 0 column C, like it formatted to pound sign. And what I'm formatting in this case is going to be comma tags I tags. There. The first one is done. Copy. Now there's no point. Let's come in here and say LBL subtotal. We can just copy the same thing, paste it there, and change the subtotal. And the next one is LBL total, really. Copy that, paste, change this to total I total, and this one is I subtotal, I sub. There, that is it. So we finish with the coding for the calculation. That is fine. So run the program now and see. Okay, the program is running now. So let's try out the calculation. I'm going to enter 4 there. Click on total. There we go, guys. So supposing I add more. Yeah. See that? That's how you use object oriented to calculate. So it's not finished yet, because all of these I still need to just modify it a bit, but the most important bit is the calculation. It's all taken care of. This is not working, about that's the only bit that works. Okay, so everything is fine, but there's one big error. I cannot do anything. I have to highlight before I can add a value, so we need to take care of that as well. And the whole idea of this combo box is to enable all of these text box. So what we will do first is to disable all of these text box and enable it with combo box. Alright, okay, now that the most important bit is taken care of anyway, Okay, let's work on this text box so that we can prevent the end user from entering ordinary characters such as this. Okay, so let's exit out, and I'm going to select all of this text box. Okay, now that all the text boxes are selected, let's go straight to the property there and select event, and we need key press right there. I'm just going to call that numbers underscore only. That's the name of the event. So click on that. There we go, and there we go. That's number underscore only. I will enter the following lines of codes. Okay, that's it. Very simple. That means no one will be able to enter characters apart from numbers. So let's try it out and see how it looks like. Okay, let's look for a keyboard. Right now let's try that again. Okay, have the keyboard, and if I try to enter a character in there, that's it, impossible. But I can enter numbers. Okay, let's try any other one out. You see that is the whole purpose of those simple line of code that you guys saw earlier. Okay, that's fine. So let's close this and exit out of here. That is working the way I want. Now the next thing I like to do is to put together some code so that we can reset all of these text box and the labels as well. So let's start by double clicking on the reset, and right above the reset itself, that's the reset button, I'm going to create a function there. It's going to be a private void function, and let's give it a name. I'm going to call it reset text box. Now let's say action less than control dot control collection. There we go, right there. And it's greater than, let's say, function equals none. There. Now function equals control equals to and greater than, and let's enter curly braces there for each control in controls this is what I want you to do. If, let's see, that's each control in controls, yeah, that's correct. Let's say if control is the text box, then controlled, let's say control, let me copy that, control as a text box dot text equals, change that to 0, else let's say function within the control itself dot controls now that should be uppercase control there. Then we now need to close that, and there we go. So let's enter semicolon there, and here wrong spelling here, just copy the right spelling, paste that in there, and here as well. Okay, so hopefully this should take care of the clear. So all I just need to do is I'm going to now copy this just to call the function name within my button here. Okay, so I'm going to paste that. Let me show you the button I'm talking about, this very one, and just paste it right there and enter that. So if I run it, let's see what's going to happen. Run this program now, and let's say, and let's see what's going to happen next. All right, that's fine. Now the next thing is we ought to be able to clear these 3 buttons as well. So let's come in here, and I just need to say lbl dot text equals clear that, and repeat the same thing for, copy that, repeat the same thing for lbl tags clear. Now lbl, okay, that'll be lbl total, and clear that as well. So that should take care of all of the text box and the total. Now the other thing is, when I run the program, I want this text box, I want them disabled. So to be able to do that, I'm going to copy this, copy everything in here. So maybe I should just enter some braces there, or comment, I mean, let's enter comment here. Yeah, that's the very first one. So I'm going to enter in here clear text box. That's a clear text box. So let's copy this now. Right above it, I'm going to have another one. I'm going to call it disabled text box. Disable text box. So instead of we having text box here, so let's change this one to disable. Change the name to disable text box. So that's the name of that. I will change this, instead of dot text, that will become dot enable equals false, equals false. There. So I'm going to copy this now. Alright, then let's look for the form load. Don't click on form load. Inside form load, paste that in there. So when I run the program, all of the text box will become disabled. Look at that. So we cannot enter any value in here now. Okay, only when we click on this will the text box be enabled. So that means we need to write a couple of lines of codes. So the other thing is, supposing we have some content in there, so I would like it to, let's come in here and just say reset. Where is the function? There we go. That function, I would like it to reset it as well. Okay, the other function that I would like is, let me copy this. That will be for the checkbox. I'm just going to copy all of these, paste it right underneath here. It's the same function I'm using, guys, so have a good look at it. Exactly the same function, but I'm just going to change this to text box, or checkbox. I mean checkbox checked. Right, that's the name of that very function. And in here, let's change the control itself. change the control to checkbox. I think it's, yeah, right. Change this control to checkbox as well. Right, then here I'm going to now change this to dot checked equals false, right there. So let's copy this. We need this function inside the reset button. We need it in here, and we're going to need the other one, the other function. Clear text box. Yeah, we have that. Disabled. This is disabled. Yeah, we need this function as well. Copy all of that and right in here, enter that function right in there. Yeah, those are the three functions that I've written for the program so far. 1, 2, and 3, and I've called the three functions inside reset button. And I'm also going to call this inside the form load right there. So when I run the program, this is what happens. Supposing all of those are checked and I click on reset, there we go, it actually reset it. Alright, we need to be able to enable this text box by clicking on any of those checkboxes. So let's see the name of this. The name of this should be txt celerin. Copy that, double click on this, and right in there I'm going to use an if statement. If chk celerin dot checked equals true. Let's close and open the bracket there. If equals true, okay, I think maybe double. Okay, if equals true, that means txt dot enable equals true, Then let's set the focus on it. Let's see, is this set focus or dot focus? Let's see, dot focus, right? Parentheses there. And we also need to clear. Let's clear it first before setting focus. txt dot text equals clear, right? Else, if it's else, all of these disable. Oh, clear. We need to clear it. Else, this is what's going to happen. This become false, and this becomes 0. Alright, let's try out the very first one. Okay, everything is disabled. Click on this, that enables it. You see that? Then I can then enter my value in there. Click on that, I get the price. Reset. There we go. Repeat the same thing. See that, guys? So I need to repeat the same thing for the rest of the checkbox. So let's end that and just copy all of that and repeat it for the rest of the checkbox. Double click on this, come right in there, and that is supposed to be carrot. So change all of that to carrot. So I'm going to now speed that up. I believe you guys now get the whole idea. Okay, I'm going to speed it up for the rest 18 checkbox. Alright, I've finished with the coding of the checkbox. So let's see how it looks like now. Alright, if I click on any of those checkbox, that's what happened. You see that, guys? However, we do have a problem. If I dare click on total, there will be an error because I have not entered any value in there. So that's the last bit we're going to take care of. So if we click on total and there's no value, that will become 0. You see that? That's an error. Okay, so let's close that and take care of that problem right here inside the total. So what we will do is, if let's have a look, if we have, or if any of the text box or all of the text box is empty, I want it to default back to 0. So let's do that. Okay, to do that, I'm going to double click on the total. So what I'll do in there, let me just enter a break. There's a break line there. So what I would do is I'm going to do it individually, and let's say if txt string.text equals that, then we want as follows. We want this to default back to, we want it to default back to 0. Right there. That's all there is to it. So for the other one, it's going to be exactly the same thing. I think the other one is carrot. So right in here, paste that and change this to carrot. txt carrot. Try that again. xt carrot. And we want this to default back to 0 as well. There. Okay, that's all there is to it. So I'm going to speed it up, but when I run the program, this is how it's going to look like. If I click on these two and just forget to enter value into them, and right here we have some coffee. All we need to do is when you click on that, you see it default back to 0. Okay, so what we do now is just speed it all up, and we can then call it the end of the tutorial. So let's do that now, guys. And that's it, guys, all taken care of. Just exactly the same lines of code. You may be able to find a shorter way for that, but that's how I'm going to do that. Let's run the whole program and we can then call it the end of the tutorial. So if supposing I didn't enter anything here and I enter something here, then come here, enter some value. I'm right here as well. Let's say y. There's nothing in y. There's nothing here. We got something here. And so on, guys. So if I click on total, that's what we get. All of these are default back to 0. So guys, I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial. I suppose you all enjoyed. So please do subscribe and thumb up. You all have a nice day now. Thanks for watching.